Taco Bell, demons, Egyptian gods, fake Christians, Charlie Daniels, drug hypocrisy, Nancy Reagan, crack cocaine, Tip O'Neill, Joe Biden, deep fat fried.
Deep fat fried.
What?
Exactly.
Were you singing like a more modern version of "We Didn't Start the Fire" or something?
No.
Like, what's going
Maybe.
on?
I don't know. Maybe we did start the fire. Maybe that song is a fucking lie. I think that song is a fucking lie is what's going on. Yeah, so I want to... my wife told me that, and I quote, and she was falling asleep at the time, she said, "You know, people who believe in demons think Taco Bell is a demon." To which I replied, fucking awesome. I asked for an explanation, and she informed me that, this once again, I'm quoting her, "There's like a demon in the logo, or whatever." And then she fell asleep, and I was just like, nice. So immediately I go check this shit out, right? I'm like, hell yeah, demon in the Taco Bell logo? It's fucking lame as shit. It's lame as fuck. Look at this. Okay, see the fucking the interior of the bell and the clapper, which is what the thing inside a bell is called.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of vaguely looks like a fucking reptile eye, and apparently they say it also looks like the Eye of Horus, but like I personally see no fucking resemblance between the Eye of fucking Horus and this thing, right? You know what I mean? Like,
Well, they just say that like a lot of eye symbology is used in a lot of these companies, and it's like any eye. They use the Eye of Horus to illustrate that like they were using it back in Egyptian times.
oh wow, yeah, you know what I mean?
But yeah, you know, I gotta agree with the conspiracy theorists here.
Yeah.
This does look like a fucking snake eye.
It does. I mean, I definitely see I see more of a resemblance between the reptile eye and this thing than I do between it and the Eye of Horus. I don't think the Eye of Horus looks much like it at all.
Also, TJ, if the full eye was revealed, you would see the truth.
But-
That's kind of what Taco Bell is going for. It's like what's
But a
behind the
fucking
veil.
a reptile is not a demon, and Horus is not a demon. Horus
They
is
are
a
Freemasons and there are terrors, TJ.
See, the Eye of Horus, which I think basically resembles the fucking the Taco Bell eye about as much as the top of Tim Pool's head resembles hair.
Oh, damn! Gonna have your little hot
brushing
shot,
up?
huh?
Brushing
Yeah,
up.
I'm brushing up. All right, you know, but to not be too mean to you Tim Pool fans out there, I will insult myself before this episode is over. So stay tuned for that.
Okay, well, that's good.
Anyway, Horus is not a fucking... He's not a demon. He's a fucking Egyptian god. And he wasn't even an evil god. He was like the god of, like, protection and shit. So you guys are fucking stupid. Anyway, this is Horus right here. This is Horus. He's just a man with a bird head, okay? Like, this is what you're scared of? Like, this is like a child's idea of what a fucking god is like, okay?
It's a pretty badass sword, though.
Dude, you would not say that to fucking Horus's face.
I mean, of course not. He's got a fucking... If I saw a dude with a hawk face, I would not be like, yo, man, fuck you, bitch.
And I
You
think
look lame.
I think that sword is called a Kopek.
Yeah, I've
it's
seen
a
them
fucking-
forge this on Forged in Fire at one point.
It's made for beheading people, dude.
It's really brutal. It's a brutal ass sword. But anyway, so then after I discovered this, I kept digging deeper for some reason, and I found this bitch, right, who's reacting to this image, and she says, "As much as I love Jesus with my whole heart, I will never disrespect him by eating here again.
Well,
I'm not
obviously.
asking anyone else to do the same, but I feel it's important for people to respect our Heavenly Father. Standing up for my faith is more important than eating at this place."
One word comes to mind, TJ.
What's
You know what
that?
that word is?
Courage. Saint. Yeah, courage.
Courage, TJ.
I
To
feel
look at all the fast food chains.
I
Take
hope
a stand
Jesus
against one
really.
like
I
this.
hope Jesus was not a real dude. You know what I mean? Because like, if he died on the cross for this shit,
Yeah, can you imagine like being Jesus? Like, what's going on down there? Dear Jesus, I would never eat a Taco Bell again because the Satanic Illuminati have taken control of it, and the Eye of Horus is there.
he'd be like, "Oh my God, what did I die for?
I died for this.
He looks back at like when he's like, "Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do," and he's just like, "I was so cringe in that moment. I should have been like, Father, these people suck.
Cringe.
Kill them."
Cringe.
You know, like think about how fucking like far like the concept of piety has fallen. Like, I don't eat Taco Bell, y'all, because I love Jesus. You know, it's
job.
like, what reaction is she fucking looking for? You know, like admiration, like, wow, you're so
Man.
brave.
Dude, on the day of Jesus's return,
Yeah.
you non-believers are going to be weeping and gnashing your teeth.
My teeth are gonna gnash, bro.
Old men you're going to be tearing your beard out by the handful.
Why? Done this,
Why did
Jesus?
I
Why?
deny the might of Jesus?
And every burning lip shall proclaim, why didn't I do the right thing? Why did I defy Jesus? Why didn't I come to Jesus sooner?
I know. Yeah, right.
Dude, if hell is real and that's the reason I end up there, that's a fucking raw deal. Ate Taco Bell, did you? It was
I mean,
fucking
he's
good.
God. God's not exactly like, you know, like, I don't think he's like necessarily has to make a good deal with people. Like between people who are on equal standing, that's one thing. But a
Right.
God can make a raw ass fucking deal with whoever
Yeah.
he wants to. He's God.
God can just like Darth Vader that shit. Like, I
He's
have
like, so
altered
what?
the deal.
It's kinda like the
Pray I don't
bureaucracy.
alter it further, you know?
It's kind of like the bureaucracy here, you know what I mean? In that
Yeah.
way, at least. It's just like, we don't care about logic or facts. It's because the rule.
You know what I love though is that Jesus basically hated clout chasing, right? Because I mean, we've talked
of
about this a
course,
few
yeah.
times on this show. Like, I'm going to actually read you from the Bible here, Matthew 6:5. And when you pray, you shall not be like the hypocrites, for they love to pray standing in the synagogue and on the corners of the streets, that they may be seen by men. Assuredly, I say to you, they have their reward. But you, when you pray, go into your room, and when you have shut your door, pray to your Father who is in the secret place, and your Father who sees in secret will reward you openly. So, you know, Christianity is about Christ, right? And Christ's most famous sermon of all time is the Sermon on the Mount. And in that fucking sermon, he tells you not to do these big grand displays of fake piety and virtue signaling bullshit. And yet here your ass is 2,000 years later trying to impress people by fucking not eating at Taco Bell because the Bell logo from some perspective kind of looks like a reptile eye, and therefore it is the eye of Horus, who wasn't even evil, and it was not a demon. But I guess it's a god, you know, have no other gods before me, right?
I mean, if I believed that Christianity was ever in its history about Jesus, I would totally agree with you. But I just think you're misunderstanding Christianity.
I think
fundamentally,
I
today.
am too, honestly.
Yeah, Jesus is just like a wacky character in Christianity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's like a wacky
He's like
guy.
the
And you
mascot, you know. He's like
said some nice things and- He
So-
said some nice things and he said some things that, I mean, it's good. Look, dude, it's good to aspire to be Jesus like, but of
Right.
course all men are flawed vessels and we all fall short of that. And so,
Oh,
you
yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah.
When he says don't clout chase or pray in your closet, man, wouldn't it be great if we could all just be
But we just-
perfectly Jesus like?
we just can't though.
So TJ, well,
So,
you're
you
not
know, a normal
understanding.
person probably would have fucking like just stopped digging by now, but I kept digging. I'm like, you know what? Maybe this well goes a little deeper. And
If it feels like you had one of those like boogers that's like way up under the flap
Yeah.
at the back of your nose, and you're just like, this motherfucker's coming out.
I'm like prying around the sides and shit, like, you know, trying to get real deep, trying to poke that fucker out. So I found out that Taco Bell, and I remember these commercials at the time, but I didn't know it was a response to this. So basically, because of this shit where people are like, it's the eye of Horus, Taco Bell did this
They
whole
leaned into
series of commercials called the Belluminati, right? Here's an example.
There's a powerful connection between the dollar and Taco Bell. Because it unlocks a world of 20 decadent menu items from breakfast to late night for just $1 each. 20 items for $1. 20 steps on the pyramid. Who's really behind this?
Anyway, so Taco Bell is basically like, let's have a laugh at these people's expense, right?
Yeah, let's have like a shadowy party.
Yeah.
We like look at all these coincidences. Could it really be a coincidence, or is someone controlling this?
So anyway, you would think
Yeah,
that like
executives.
but these people are joke proof, right? Like look at the first comment on this fucking thing. Right in our faces, and people still think nothing's wrong. The symbolism is right here. Who knows what's in Taco Bell's food? 26 thumbs up. I'll give you a 27.
This fucking idiot is just eating shit he grew in his garden. That's it. I only eat a vegan taco.
See, Taco Bell made the mistake of thinking that America was smart enough to be in on the joke, but instead that, right?
No, we're not
So-
smart enough to be on the fucking joke.
I just want to pause for a moment. Let's just take a moment to appreciate the sheer absurdity of this, okay? Taco Bell has a logo. Part of that logo bears a passing resemblance to an eyeball. Crazy people notice this and declare it to be the Eye of Horus, which isn't even an ominous symbol, once again, and which the Taco Bell logo looks nothing fucking like. Taco Bell hears about these crazy people, decides to have a laugh at their expense with this marketing campaign, but instead, even more crazy people come out of the woodwork that don't see the humor at all and just think that Taco Bell is going like mask off Illuminati, right? I love it. But then, fucking country legend Charlie Daniels gets in the mix, right? So Charlie Daniels, who's famous for singing Devil Went Down to Georgia, tweets to Taco Bell, "Hey Taco Bell, the Illuminati is not a frivolous subject." Okay?
Damn.
So, yeah, Charlie Daniels is like, do not mock Taco Bell.
Isn't he dead now?
Yes.
TJ?
So Taco Bell, yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. Because you know what? A mere 910 days after he posted this tweet, Charlie Daniels died under mysterious circumstances of a hemorrhagic stroke at only 83 years old.
Whoa.
Still a young man.
trust it, man.
Obviously, the Illuminati didn't appreciate, what he'd been saying, right?
Well, TJ, if they had killed him right away, too obvious, right? Yeah, let a couple years go by. Let's let 900 days go by.
910.
Kill him.
Yeah. But they got him. Oh, they got him.
The wheels of justice take a little while to turn. The extra 10 days was the Illuminati deciding how
So
to.
the funny thing about Charlie Daniels is his Twitter is still active, right? And it basically posts the same tweets every day. So here's some examples. Keeping Charlie's legacy alive. Pray for the blue. Back the blue. Keeping Charlie's legacy alive. 125,000 innocent unborn babies will be murdered by abortionists around the world today. Keeping Charlie's legacy alive. 22 veterans commit suicide every day. Hashtag end 22.
So now it's supposed to be
Terrible
some
hashtag,
stupid-
by the way, because it's like they, end 22. They already ended themselves, right? How about I don't know, prevent 22 suicides or
It's the worst
save
thing,
22.
dude. People that are famous really have to put this shit in their fucking wills now. It's like, if I have a Twitter account, you can't run it after I'm dead.
Keeping
You have to
Charlie's
fuck-
legacy alive. Remember 9/11, right? It's like, that's the one between
Remember, they
9/10
just
and
John
9/12.
McCain too,
just so you know.
dude. Even when you're dead, there's still people that are like, no, let's still keep posting and tweeting and shit, even if you're dead.
Keeping
It's
Charlie's
like,
legacy
why
alive.
not?
Benghazi ain't going away. Keeping Charlie's
This is his
legacy
legacy?
alive. Random Bible verse.
Wait a minute. What is his legacy supposed to be? Shitty tweets?
Yeah.
That's his legacy?
So anyway, it cycles back through that every day. Every day it publishes those same tweets. Pray for the blue, 125 babies, 22 veterans, remember 9/11, Benghazi, the Bible verse, some bullshit, whatever, audiobook, some promotion shit.
Yeah, buy the fucking person
yeah.
tweeting this shit out. It's audiobook.
Right. And then basically it just goes on it just goes through that same cycle every single day. It does the same shit, right?
I guess occasionally they do something.
On this day in 2000, Charlie. So basically, they have some kind of thing, a random factoid. They have a random Bible verse, and then everything else is just these same tweets. Remember 9/11, 22 veterans, blah 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 blah. Okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, I wondered the same thing you were, Sky. Like, what is this his legacy? Because to me, the legacy of Charlie Daniels is that he's saying "Devil Went Down to Georgia," and that's pretty much it. The rest of his life, I don't know much about. He was just a simple man with brainworms, saying stupid shit on Twitter, apparently. And I call him a simple man, by the way, because that is his third most popular song on Spotify. Okay? So here's the great thing about this. I listened to these songs, right? I was curious, what else did Charlie Daniels sing besides The Devil Went Down to Georgia? What are his other big songs? Because I never heard these other fucking songs before. So if you listen to these first three songs, It is a journey down a primrose path. Okay? It has a great story arc to it. Cause you listen to The Devil Went Down to Georgia and you're like, holy shit, this is a really good song, right?
Yeah.
I mean, to me, I feel like The Devil Went Down to Georgia, it's like greatness to me is like unquestionable. It's a great song.
Yeah, I mean it's a good song. It'll always be a good song.
Right, and it's one of the best
Timeless.
story songs ever written, right?
Sure.
So the next most popular song, have you ever heard this song before, Paul? It's a Long-Haired Country Boy. You ever
No.
heard that? It pretty much
No.
sucks. It sucks.
Long hair country
It has a
boy.
certain charm to it. Now, there's a line from it I want you guys to remember, though, okay? This is the line.
Okay.
People say I'm no good and crazy as a loon because I get stoned in the morning and get drunk in the afternoon. All right?
I've heard the song. Yeah.
You've heard the song?
Yeah. That line. Yeah, I've heard that before.
Okay. So remember that. Stoned in the morning, drunk in the afternoon.
Sounds good.
So then, like a missile filled with diarrhea, Simple Man crashes into your brain at the speed of terrible sound, right? So the song Simple Man, which has nothing to do with the Leonard Skinner song. Totally different song. Okay.
Yeah. Right.
This song is written by the darkest part of your stupidest right-wing uncle's fractured and hideous id, right? If the devil farts, it sounds like this song. If this song was a person,
no.
if this song was a person, it would be a professional puppy stomper for a living, and its hobbies would include tripping old ladies, shitting in boxes and mailing them to orphans on Christmas, and throwing sticks into the spokes of people's wheelchairs, all right?
Oh my God.
This is a fucking awful song.
That's pretty. This is starting to sound metal. You're actually.
Yeah.
I'm starting to come
I'm
around.
convinced. All right, listen to this. All right, this is a verse from this song. I want you to remember the fucking previous verse, okay? Get stoned in the morning, drunk in the afternoon.
Right.
We tell our kids, just say no, and then some panty-waist judge lets a drug dealer go, slaps him on the wrist, turns him back out on the town. But if I had my way with people selling dope, take a big tall tree and a short piece of rope, I'd hang him up high and let him swing till the sun goes down. All right?
Wow, that's pretty.
He's Duterte, dude. He wants that shit.
Yeah.
So I hope none of you had your dogs in the room because they just heard a little bit of a whistle just now. I don't know. You know, you guys, I mean, obviously, how does this guy go from stoned in the morning, drunk in the afternoon to like hang the drug dealers? Okay. So I was like curious about, I'm like, how the fuck does this guy like go from that to that? Right. So this song, Long-Haired Country Boy, I don't know when it was written, 60s, 70s, somewhere in that range. Simple Man is written in 1989. All right. So I'm wondering, like, what the fuck is going on in the country in 1989? So I started looking up, like, what was going on with drugs in 1989. So I found this little
Like
document
the
here.
cocaine.
Yeah, crack and cocaine,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yep, that's right. So the narrative Charlie spun about drug dealers in 1989 getting lenient sentences from panty-waist judges is surprisingly not accurate. So that
No.
this year, 287,858 people were arrested for the sale and manufacture of drugs in this year, in 1988, the year prior to this. So this song was written in 89, or it was released in 89, but this is 88 was the year that, you know, it's probably written in and the culture was saturated in at that time. So at this time, anti-drug sentiments in our country had reached a fever pitch, all right? So it was so bad that in this year, 1988, 38% of Gallup poll respondents said they favored the death penalty for convicted drug dealers. That who had not been convicted of murder or any other capital offense. They wanted drug dealers sentenced to death. 38% of the population. All right?
Mm-hmm.
So in January of 1985, in 85, 2% of people thought drug abuse was the most serious problem in America. But by May of 1989, 27% thought so. Pretty dramatic swing in public opinion in 4 years, right?
Yeah, 25%.
Goes from 2% thinking like drugs are the most serious issue, which is like, the fuddy-duds basically, to like over a quarter of the country being like, we got to do some of these fucking drug dealers, man. All these drugs. So I learned basically Charlie Daniels was not Well, he was an extremist for sure, but he wasn't fringe. The views he was singing in his song about get a big tall tree and a short piece of rope and hang 'em till the sun come down.
Right.
That was not some kind of like crazy, fringe viewpoint. That was commonplace. 38% of the population agreed with his ass. So even though just 4 years earlier, no one thought drugs were a big deal. So how do we go from pretty much no one giving a shit about drugs to over a quarter of the country being like, this is fucking a national nightmare?
Bad.
So, Nancy Reagan, who, have you ever noticed that her eyes are too far apart, by the way?
Yeah.
God, they really are.
She looks
Look at
like
that
a
shit.
basset hound or something.
She looks like a fucking Star Trek alien to me.
She's got the eyes of a fucking basset hound.
You're right.
Dude, I want to see a picture of a basset hound.
All right. Hold on. I'll get you one. All
You can pull up a picture of a basset hound and tell me it's not the exact same shit.
right, hold on. Let's fucking compare. Basset
Dude,
hound.
she looks like this basset hound my fucking crazy stepmom had. That it was named Brody, that she had no idea how to take care of and just tried to keep in this tiny little backyard.
All right. Let's see. Which one do you want?
Aw, cute dog. Yeah.
Just, we got to get one that, we can see the eyes real good. You know what I mean?
Okay, like this one.
Yeah.
Zoom in on that one.
You gotta be able to see them. Oh man,
Open image,
what
new
you
tab.
done did.
Here you go.
Well, you did what you done did, DJ. Yeah,
Oh,
see?
dude. Yeah, it checks out.
Boop.
It checks out. Yep.
Oh my god, man. Yeah, dude. She's got the eyes of a basset hound.
She
Yeah.
got the eyes of a basset.
Got the
hound.
eyes of a basset hound.
Holy
Brain
shit.
of a rock.
And a pussy that Ronald Reagan loved to paint. Anyway, so anyway, this bitch said, just say no to drugs because her eyes look even freakier when you're on drugs, right?
Just say no and really mean it, TJ. Don't just be like no. You have to really
You gotta
mean
really mean that shit.
Dude, looking at her picture makes me feel like I'm kind of on drugs that I'm
I
not
know,
on.
right?
You know what I mean?
Because it just feels like I
Hello,
must be tripping.
hello.
There's no way those eyes are that far apart.
it. Is her eyes really that far apart? No.
So anyway,
Are those Brody's eyes staring at me from the past, or is that a picture of Nancy Reagan? Oh, God.
so just say no was the big, Washington solution to America's drug problem at the time. So
Just tell kids drugs are bad.
here's how it works. It doesn't. So anyway, but in 1986,
I love your setup. You're like, here's how it works. Like, okay, how does it work? It's like, it just doesn't.
it doesn't work. It's basically like
Yeah.
just don't do it. Like whatever, bitch.
that's
Duh.
what Dare was. It's like you go to Dare, you hear this just say no shit, and it's like that's basically all I told you. It's
So,
like,
in 1986, Nancy's husband, who in my mind is a serious contender for worst president, but it's arguable, of course. Ronald Reagan, he signed the Anti-Drug Abuse Act. Oh, and by the way, Tim Pool fans, I've not forgotten that I owe you guys an insult to myself. I will get to it. It's coming. Do not worry. I know you probably think it slipped my mind. It has not. I know I owe you one. Okay.
you do.
So, don't you worry. I'm cooking it up. It's gonna be a doozy. So I wish I could blame Reagan for this terrible Anti-Drug Abuse Act, because it's a nightmare of a fucking bill when you read the fucking thing. But you got to blame this guy.
Yeah.
You know who this is?
He looks familiar.
He
Coke
should.
nose McGillicuddy.
So this guy is Tip O'Neill, who was a Democrat from Massachusetts. He was Speaker of the House, I believe, for a number of years.
Oh yeah.
So he was, it's his brainchild, right? So he had this sudden urge, this sudden hair up his ass to pass this new piece of drug legislation. Why? Because a new drug had just come out called crack cocaine. Okay? And unlike normal cocaine, this drug was predominantly used by black people. All right?
White people.
So the
White
politicians.
people in suburbia.
Yeah, the politicians and the media had a field day with this, did a giant fear-mongering campaign, and that's why by 1989, when Charlie Daniels released his shitty and hypocritical song about hanging drug dealers, public sentiment had swung anti-drug in a gigantic way. It was all driven by racism. Shocking, I know. And before all you conservatives out there get upset that I committed the grievous sin of calling something in America's past racist, just remember, the Democrats did this, so it's okay for you guys to acknowledge this one. I know the rules. This is all the Democrats' fault. This guy's a Democrat. He
what
did
was
it.
the party of slavery? What was
Yeah,
the party of
party
slavery?
of slavery, you guys. So you guys have to acknowledge this one.
Democrats.
Okay.
Yep.
So the effect
Well,
of this
they'll
Democratic
fully acknowledge that then.
the effect of this Democratic Anti-Drug Abuse Act of 1986 was a huge increase in black incarceration rates because so here's the deal. Even though
Harsher sentences.
Yes, even though cocaine and crack cocaine are basically the same drug, 5 grams of crack cocaine, 5 grams, version of the drug favored by black people, sentence you to 5 years in fucking prison. Minimum. Mandatory minimum. You would have to be caught with 500 grams of powdered cocaine to receive that same sentence, which was the one favored by white people. By the way,
so it's like 3 rocks of crack cocaine.
I know, you know,
Not to mention, crack is way more addictive than cocaine's highly addictive, of course. But
So-
crack cocaine even more so, and the high is
The only reason, like the reason that crack is so much worse than coke is because the primary method of the only method of consuming it is either smoking it or melting it down and injecting it.
ugh.
And
Both.
any drug that you deliver a dose that high of that quickly directly into the bloodstream has huge potential addictive.
Oh
properties.
God, yeah.
and
And
there was
so,
a
like, this
epidemic
goes
of
even
crack for a
deeper
while.
too, man. This
It
goes
does.
even deeper because one part of your analysis, if any of it, TJ, was off when you said like, "Oh, the crack shows up on the scene." No, the CIA put crack on the scene. Like this plan goes way deeper. Like they were doing this anti-drug thing. You know who the target of it was though? Colombians and like Hispanic folk, Cubans and shit. They were doing the anti-cocaine thing earlier in the 80s. And they were like the CIA was facilitating multiple regimes to bring fucking. They were using CIA planes to bring fucking crack and
To fight
coke.
communism.
Yeah. So like it was the government itself that introduced the mass supply of these drugs that was needed to create like corner street dealers.
Mm-hmm.
And then the government uses it as
they need to solve their own problem, right? And you know who voted for
Right,
this shit,
right.
by the way? Joe Biden. Pretty much but you can't really blame him too much because pretty much everyone in the Senate voted for this.
Well, by the way, it's like, how do you? Yeah,
Only
okay,
two
so let's hit-
senators voted nay on this Anti-Drug Abuse Act of 1986. So, Chuck Schumer, by the way, he wasn't a senator; he was a congressperson. He voted for it. I'm pretty sure Nancy Pelosi voted for it. I couldn't confirm that one way or the other, but I'm pretty sure she was already in office and had voted for this as well. Maybe I'm mistaken on that. I couldn't prove it
Well,
for sure.
America had 2 choices, TJ. We could lock everyone up and deal with the problem that way, or we could overhaul the healthcare system and help these people. This is drug addiction. It's a healthcare crisis.
I actually looked in the in that pamphlet. Remember that little crime pamphlet I showed you earlier? That where they the 1988 one. There was
Right.
a section in there where they polled people about what they wanted to do about the drug problem, and there was the point where they said 38% of people wanted to execute all the drug dealers. There was a contingent of like 6% who were like, I think we need to give treatment to drug addicts to help them curb addiction, but it was like 6%. So that was like not the favored means of dealing with the problem.
Well,
right?
also, it does things on multiple fronts. It locks up a large portion of the population.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it demonizes them. It gets you. It creates even greater police state because there's more impetus to hire more police. Then, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have this drug epidemic. The only way to deal with it is get a bunch of fascist thugs on the street, start locking people up left and right. Are they going to lock me up? No, don't worry. They're going to lock black people up.
By the
Oh,
way,
okay. Well, go ahead.
So Joe Biden was actually pretty early on in this a critic of this legislation. He actually challenged it on a few levels, but eventually he did vote for it. So,
I've got problems with this.
like
Oh,
when it
wait
was
a
first
minute.
introduced, he was like, I mean, it seems suspicious the way this is being pushed through so fast like this. But then, soon enough, he was like, well, I'm on board. So I guess they greased his palms at some point.
Well, remember back in the day, they would. That's when as a senator, you just get bought off at that point. Like, well, Delaware's going to get a bunch of money. All right,
All
never
right,
mind.
man. All right, Jack. Oh, right. I owe that. So, Tim Pool fans, time for your, you made it this far. I'm sorry I made fun of his hairline or lack thereof, but I'm sure, you're very hurt. And plus, you guys had to sit through me calling America racist. I know that was painful for you. I know that triggers you a lot. So, anyway.
I mean, it's got a pretty weak beard too, so I expect a really good insult.
All right, so I got to insult myself really good now. Because, now you got to insult yourself, Sky, because you said something about his beard.
Well, I'm not going to go on Tim Pool's show. So
Well, the Tim Pool fans, they're hungry for your blood now, Scotty. They're hungry for your blood. You got to fucking appease them. All right.
Why go for a minnow when you have a fucking juicy ass tuna?
All right, here he goes. I hate to do this to myself, but I earned it. I did what I did. I got to pay the piper. So, all right. Sometimes my godlike perfection can be burdensome in that it inspires the envious discomfort of my lessers. I admit that failing on my part. So, wow, I can't believe I had to say that to myself, but fair is fair.
Doesn't sound like an insult.
Oh, it was a terrible insult. Terrible,
Seemed like a front-handed insult.
No. What are you talking about? So anyway, some final thoughts on this. So was there a lesson in this episode? Was there a topic? Was there a point? Probably not,
No.
but I'm gonna try to make one anyway. I think it might be this. So the eye of the demon is not hidden in the Taco Bell logo. Instead, it's peering out from behind a majestically waving American flag. It isn't the eye of Horus. You know whose eye it really is? It's the eye of Economos. And it should be the real symbol of this country. Fake Mexican food sold to fake people, living in a fake country, full of fake outrage and faker fucking politicians. This garbage heap of a nation turned the humility and generosity of Christ's teachings into the narcissism and greed of modern Christianity. It turned Charlie Daniels from a drug-loving, long-haired country boy into a dog-whistling mouthpiece of anti-drug hysteria, hungry for the blood of crack dealers, and singing Billboard charting hits about lynching black people. And you know what I just realized? The fact that the devil went down to Georgia means that America is geographically located beneath hell. Maybe the reason why every president from Ronald Reagan to Joe Biden has done everything in their power to divide us isn't so much about control, but it's also about making sure we continue to blame the suckiness of America on some external scapegoat, instead of just admitting to ourselves this whole country was rotten from the core from the very moment it was conceived of. Conservatives believe America was once great and could be again. Liberals believe that America is still great despite its flaws. Leftists believe America could be great if only we pushed it towards progress, but maybe it's time to admit the truth. America wasn't great, it isn't great, and it won't be great. And that's the episode.
Wow. You're a defeatist, TJ.
I guess so.
America hater.
Sorry about that. Sorry for hating America.